text-to-voice synthesis provided by Vidnami. The Occupation. January 28, 2021 by Anna von Reitz. A few days ago, I made the startling observation to some people, not my readers, of course, that our country has been under martial law since 1863 and the issuance of General Order 100, also known as the Lieber Code, and that we are essentially occupied by our own armed forces. I also observed that the presence of all the troops in Washington, D.C., is merely the encampment coming out of the closet. As the decades went on, and we Americans did not wake up, did not convene our actual government, did not bring our states into session, did not address the important questions of the day, and did not undertake to self-govern or show any interest in reconstruction of our Confederation or our Federal Republic, the foreign territorial government subcontractor running the U.S. military, and its former enemy in the Civil War conflict, the Municipal United States Government settled into an uneasy armistice. An armistice is a cessation of hostilities for a considerable time, but it is not a conclusive peace or treaty guaranteeing peace, and so, both armed camps have remained, decade after decade, with one claiming victory, but not really having it, and the other wheedling its way forward saddled with reparation debts which it seeks to avoid paying. In 1937, the two sides signed the Declaration of Interdependence of the Governments in the United States, and basically agreed to collude with each other against us, their clueless employers. This stems from FDR's first inaugural address to the municipal employees, in which he basically says he is selling them all into slavery for a holy cause, and also then expedites the fraud scheme by which all of us will be misidentified, accidentally on purpose, as municipal employees and/or dependents, responsible for paying the territorial government endless war reparations. It was then in the best interests of both sides to deliberately misidentify us all as municipal citizenry. That way, the territorial government had an excuse to collect reparations from us even though we didn't owe any, and the municipal government had a much larger base of taxpayers to spread its debt burdens on. The recent possession and occupation of Washington, D.C., is just proof and reminder of this situation, and the need to resolve it peacefully once and for all, which in turn necessitates the present effort to bring the actual states of the Union into session, and for the people of this country, the state citizens, to do their long-neglected job of self-governance and reconstruction. We now come forward to the present time and learn some additional facts. The Civil War is what is called a civil conflict, or otherwise known as a mercenary conflict. It isn't a declared war, because some part of the government would have to declare war against another part of the government. Therefore, it devolves from being a true war to being a conflict. Like the conflict in Vietnam. We also observe that the Lieber Code, General Order 100, has morphed into the Hague Conventions and has been applied worldwide in the wake of the Second World War, so that many other countries and peoples who were not officially part of that vast uproar, have been occupied and abused in exactly the same way. Germany and Japan have been occupied since 1945. We note that our own army of occupation has adopted the law of war with respect to the municipal citizenry, see link below, but is obligated to provide us, the actual non-citizen population of this country, with the law of peace, Department of the Army pamphlet, 2 volumes, several hundred pages, of course AR 27-1611. So to gain an understanding of what has just happened in Washington, D.C., and why, go here and read Chapter 11, www.tinyurl.com/army-pamphlet. To gain an understanding of what you are owed as a non-citizen, non-combatant, non-aligned member of the civilian populace, aka average American, look up AR 27-1611, which I believe is already posted online at my website, www.annavonreitz.com. To put an end to this occupation by our own armed forces requires us to get off our rumps and do the job of self-governing. Until we do, they can continue to occupy our land and charge us for this service, which is rather like paying someone to step on your foot. Hard. We have to firmly realize that we are the employers in this situation, that we had no part in the Civil War, that we don't owe any war reparations, and that, as the employers, it is now our responsibility to sort it out, declare and record our birthright political status, join our state assemblies, and start making decisions. We have an 8-cylinder engine knocking along on 4, and somehow we never realized that we are the mechanics. It's also our job to mandate the peace process. These are our employees, and if we don't insist that they go back to school and settle their differences, who else is going to? Go to www.theamericanstatesassembly.net.